co-CEO of The Art of Service, and today we're talking about cloud adoption and the knowledge graph around cloud adoption and what there is to see. Um, I got a question after yesterday's session, which is what do the balls mean and what do the colors mean of the balls? So let me give you a rundown of that, what's going on there. Um, First one, let's run this one. We're running, we're showing right now is the blue balls. And what the blue balls basically mean is these are the topics that have a relationship to the main topic, so to cloud adoption, specifically. If I zoom in a bit, you get to see them better. You can actually read them. Let's make my screen a little bit larger here. There you go. Digital twins I've got here on my screen. This one, third-party risk management program, empowered edge computing, data migration, all part of cloud adoption, security orchestration, automation, and response. And if I click on those, you might remember that from yesterday, they fold out and you'll actually get to see what the criteria are that are related specifically to that topic and the questions that are related specifically to that topic. So I'll do one, so give you an idea. Security orchestration, there we go. Automation and response, we'll drag that here in the middle. And this is where you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 criteria aligned to this specific topic. Security orchestration, automation and response. I can click on each and every one of those and see what's behind them. So click on this one and it'll unfold, and what it'll show me here is that it has a question attached to it that I could ask my management team, my staff, my personnel, my people that deal with cloud adoption in my organization, see how far we are. What's the difference between security? I can open this up so we can read it. What's the difference between security and cybersecurity? Good question. Evaluate cutting-edge security technologies and create proof of concepts and drive them towards adoption. So this is how it's organized. This is the topic itself. The topic itself has criteria against it, critical criteria. So these are the orange balls. And to dive further into these critical criteria, you can ask a question. And the question is the questions that are attached to them. What we see here, the green balls, so they are we call it Moscow score. They define the priority of the critical criterion, how prioritized it is in the whole organization of the critical criteria. So there's over 2,500 cloud adoption critical criteria in here, and this is number 1,470. So somewhere just high up there in the should have category. And that's how we organize them: must have, should have, would have. 5 different categories, and I'll show you them later as well. And they're the yellow balls. Other yellow ball is the important word. Here it says the important word. So they're all categorized around important words as well. So all the critical criteria that have the word security in them, and let's have some fun and just click this because it'll probably blow up tremendously, I have no idea, will then show up. And like I said, it's a lot that has a lot of them have security in them. So this gives you a quick idea of how it's all connected. Now let's quickly get rid of this because it's a lot to have a look at, and go to the next balls, so you can see what there is in critical criteria. So what we've done here is we've had a look at the use case, the critical criteria. These are all the critical criteria and the use cases in there, like the 2,500, over 2,500. And I'll zoom in a bit so you can have a look at what it is. There, they're all there. I can click on them. Ensure you provide most of the most innovative companies with the infrastructure automation tools. You can click on them, cloud adoption, and again, they're all connected. Again, it gives you an idea of the use cases that are in there. The other ball that you saw before is the question ball, and I'm going to pull those up so you have a quick idea of the question ball that's in there, all the questions that are in there. Loading right now. There we go. Many questions in there, and each of the question is related to a specific criterion. For instance, does SaaS ERP ROI? Oh, zoom in so you can see it as well. Does SaaS ERP ROI always beat on-premises ERP? Interesting. That's connected to. Let's have a look. Oh, probably something that has to do with SaaS or ERP. Certified personnel is changing individual behavior in an effective way to achieve accelerated adoption. Interesting. And I could click through on that one as usual and end up with all the details that are related to that one. This gives you an idea of the different colored balls and what they actually mean. Now, what it also does, if I do it like this, I could have the prioritization in here. The easier way to have a look at the prioritization is go through the urgencies. So as I've said before, the urgencies are defined into 5 different urgency categories. 5 could have, maybe we should have that, might have, ought have, you should have this, should have, and then you must have this. So the must have this, that's the most important category. That's basically the low-hanging fruit of critical criteria that we need to have in place. If I go to that one and I'll unfold it, a lot of balls will pop up because there's a lot of them in the must-have category. These are all the things that we need to have in place for cloud adoption to be successful in our organization and to monitor and make sure that we have the right approach to it in place. Again, this is a lot. I can click on each and every one of them. Let's have a click here. Ensure your cloud professional services team helps provide consultative, architectural, program, and engineering support for your internal customers' journey to the cloud. Good one. And again, it's connected. You see here where it's connected to, what the priorities are. And you can see the whole overview of how cloud adoption can be successful and what to take care of here. The most interesting part I find, and I'm basically showing you this to give you an idea of what's in the full database and how it's all connected. But the most interesting thing I find is how you can tell a story, how this data basically tells a story of what you should be focusing on right now and how. And that's by simply asking it sort of questions. And let me open something up that I prepared earlier. That one, this one, there. This is a question that we're going to ask the database. What are the primary business drivers behind cloud adoption at your organization? That's the main question that's being asked a lot when you have to deal with cloud adoption. What are the primary drivers for it? So let's pull that up, that question. I can put this back. That one back. Maximize that one again. That one back. Yeah. Put that one back and then go for the question. What are the primary business drivers behind cloud adoption for your organization? There we go. I'm back in the database. Run. So what I've done here is I'm looking in the database for use cases that contain the word drive and business in it. What are the primary business drivers behind cloud adoption at your organization? And these are the ones that come up. Ensure your team connects gaps and patterns across business and technology areas and drives changes and improvements to existing intellectual property, technologies, and processes that enable solutions to scale across internal customers. Great idea. So I can double click on that again, and it gives me an idea of what I need to focus on here for the primary business drivers. It's a must-have for cloud adoption, and it's a high priority as well. I told you it's close to 2,500, so this is one that we really need to focus on. It's around the technology area of the whole thing. And I can click on the others, and I can quickly see how they are connected and what the most important areas are that I need to focus on when I need to figure out what the primary business drivers are. A lot of them have to do with technology, data, cloud. I can click on a couple more, management, and see how they are all connected. Drive, I can pull them out. And in this way, I can get a business case together. I can put a business case together by focusing on the orange balls first, so the use cases, and then from there derive the questions and ask my management team or my staff the questions that are related to each and every one of these orange balls, the critical criteria. And I can put the business case together like this. Let's do another one. Let's go back to the question. So we had this one. Primary business drivers behind adoption, cloud adoption at your organization. Let's do another one. The next one. If it works. Yeah, what policies and processes does your organization have that constrain cloud service decisions? Interesting one. What is it that you cannot do, basically? All right, let's pull that away and pull it up. See what the database does for me. And run. So I'm looking here for use cases that have the word policies, and procedures in it. So what policies and processes does your organization have that constrain cloud service decisions? And there's again, I've done 50 here. I can do like 10, which is a bit less, easier to have a look at, easier on the eye than 50. And double click on this one. Review and follow data privacy practices, policies, and guidelines. Makes perfect sense to me. Certify your process updates documentation continuously following departmental policies and procedures. Fantastic. Let's have that one too. And ensure you must understand the procedures and expected system performance associated with the introduction of new solutions. That to me, that feels like a training exercise that needs to be taken care of in your organization, and on it goes. You can see how it's connected. Again, here's the information that I basically need to figure out what policies and processes I need to have in place and how I review that for my organization. Let's do one more. This is an interesting one I found. Let's go back to this one, the screen. There we are. How does cloud adoption complicate the insider threat, and what is your organization doing about it? Insider threat. Interesting topic. All right. Let's pull that away. Pull that out. Insider threat. And see what we can find. How does cloud adoption complicate the insider threat, and what is your organization doing about it? Look at this. 3 distinctive use cases pop up. Let me open them up, all 3 of them, so we can have a quick look at them. Use cases. Oh, what I've done here, and I've just changed something around here, I based it on the question. So what I've done here, I started out with looking for an insider, the word insider, in the question. So we have here, what level of risk has the broad adoption of cloud services, specifically SaaS applications, introduced by creating new means by which cyber criminals and malicious insiders conduct fraud? Interesting. So if I double click on that, it comes up with the use case. Develop strategic and tactical security remediation recommendations, cyber risk roadmap to address identified security gaps. There we go. Double click. And it's definitely an ought to have. And it has a lot of relationships to other use cases in place. So I clicked on this question, and you see this one goes back there. This question, how does cloud adoption complicate the insider threat, and what are departments doing about it? There we go. Click on that one. Make headway so that your company collaborates with developers, data scientists, and engineers across departments and business line. Pretty straightforward. Let's go with a better one, maybe. Be sure your personnel adopts style to engage across a broad network for results-driven collaboration inside and outside of your organization. To me, that means transparency. Transparency needs to be in place, and accountability in an organization. And this one, be confident that your group is involved in security threat modeling and risk assessments. And that's a must-have. Have a cloud adoption framework in place for that. And that's something that pops up here a lot in the blue balls as well, the cloud adoption frameworks. Not just cloud adoption, but the cloud adoption framework have that in place. And that really helps organizations to assure that they crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's when they are looking at a cloud adoption framework. When I click on the cloud adoption framework, you see what actually is involved by doing that. And so here you see a quick insight. Here I had a quick overview and a quick insight of the cloud adoption knowledge graph. And with this, I will leave you for today with a big smiley face. Hello and thank you. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you again tomorrow.